Is it 70? It's 70.
I think it is. Yeah. Last week was 69. There was nothing funny about it last week. So welcome back, guys. This is the Once You're In podcast. Did we say we were going to be in a studio last week?
Yeah, Pete let us down.
Pete let us
Fucking
down.
Pete.
So Pete listens to the podcast as well because Pete listens like first thing as soon as it's on Monday. So Pete, not happy. Pete's let us down. We were going to record at Pete's in like it wasn't going to be a studio, but we were going to create our own little studio. As you can see, that's not happened. We're here, which is fine. This is good. This is the OG podcast, but we are looking to level it up, aren't we? Yeah, we're looking to step it up, the step up of the podcast. So yeah, episode number 70. Reece was just about to tell me about his holiday. If you see us both looking away, it's because we're both have the football in the background, which is not professional in the slightest. So we probably should not have it on, but it's the World Cup, so cut us some.
Comes around every 4 years. Like, guys, come on, let us have it.
It's the pancake breakfast. It comes around every month.
Yeah.
You remember when you told me that I didn't do film references and I didn't know any? That was.
I don't know that, so you're already better than me.
Yeah,
what I want to do, what I should do is I need to move the so I can actually do both.
My TV's there, so you can't really. I guess you can't really tell that much.
Yeah, but no. To be fair, World Cup comes around every 4 years. It's currently Uruguay versus Korea, so I'm on just Darwin Núñez watch. That's the only
South Korea, mate. South Korea. You can't just say Korea.
Oh yeah, South Korea. North Korea is horrendous.
Sorry to any Koreans listening if that offended you.
I reckon we've probably got maybe one or two Koreans. I reckon we must have one or two. Maybe not from
Spotify. I sent you the Spotify numbers the other day, didn't I?
Mate, they were good. I was surprised
how good numbers are good. We've got a good community.
Yeah, people listen. And like I said, mate, we're taking over with the Yeah Buddy reps. I sent Phil.
Tell the story.
So to be fair, I'll kind of say what I've done over the last few days. So I was in Cornwall. I was in Cornwall from Sunday night till yesterday, and it was a good time. I had loads of clients at the end of the check-in. Have a good time in Cornwall, mate. Have a good holiday. And it's like literally nothing changes. It's just we're staying in a cottage, and that's it. We went for a walk on the beach yesterday. Day before, which was nice. But other than that, no changes at all. And the gym manager, owner, like Laney Fitness or whatever, messaged me on Sunday saying, "Come down, mate. We'll sort you out." And it was quite a good gym. It was a cool little setup. And he said when we were chatting to him at the end of when we said, "Oh, thanks for," because obviously we didn't pay for a day pass, which I felt bad because it's like a day pass is a £5. Like I'll buy a day pass. I'm using the gym, and I said to him thanks for being obviously very welcoming. Like if we're ever coming down again, 100% we'll come to the gym. And then he was talking about his own training, and he was like, "Yeah, loads of people doing buddy reps and stuff like that." And I just started laughing. Sanaya was like, "Yeah, no." Sanaya was like, "You didn't mean it like that." And I was like, "No, yeah, buddy reps are taking over. Like we've framed it."
Nobody would have said "yeah, buddy reps" randomly before I created it, not you.
I created it. You created it doing a dumbbell lateral raise.
Nobody would have said that though, would they? That's not just a thing that people said like 6 months ago. Oh yeah, we're doing buddy reps. That's come from us.
Yeah, we've created that. We've marketed it.
Me.
Yeah, but mate, I've got a bigger reach than you, so I've then pushed it by you even associating something with me is actually positive for you. So you're the one benefiting from
How many times have we heard people say, "Oh yeah, I followed Finn and then I found Reece"? When have we heard that the other way around?
Yeah. I don't know, mate. I reckon in a few years from now, maybe so, but. Mate, you got to remember, you were technically more popular. I just overtook you. That's what it was. I caught you up.
This is just fake social media popularity.
No. But I'm not even saying popularity on social media. I'm also saying if me and
you were popular with 12-year-old children.
No, I had people come up to me at the Arnold asking me for photos. You just walked off. You rude bastard.
Yeah, but I'm a small natty. You can't get. You just miss me in the crowd. I just look like another small natty. There's loads of them at the Arnold's, mate. Yeah.
With shit arms, we got to remember that.
No, completely shit.
Completely. Wait, you mentioned that a few too many times recently.
I've had people message me like, "This guy's in your head." Like, yeah, he is.
Yeah, Sissy Junior has proper rattled you.
Yeah. No, I find it funny. I like it when stuff like that happens because it's like just funny, isn't it? It's like gives you an excuse to just take the piss out of yourself or take the piss out of the other person.
Yeah. In this case, him and a bit of you, but
yeah, and a bit of me. It's made me think that my arms aren't very good, and now I'm going to have to start. I'm going to have an arm day on both rest days. Now. It's going to be an arm day.
Fair enough. So from AJ telling you probably best to hide your arms. You've actually made them a weakness now. You had
They
a strength.
aren't as good as they were. I should have found a photo from like 3 years ago and sent him that. I've been like, there you go.
No, your arms have atrophied. In reality, you just brought up everywhere else. Your arms are, and also I will say, in an oversized tee, mate, anybody's arms look shit. Like doing an oversized, and also, can we apply the tax of anything overhead? Your
arms look horrendous.
Yeah, like I remember when
my arms weren't. I wasn't trying to make my arms look good. It's like nobody can make your arms look good in that kind of exercise or that video.
So therefore, you do the exercise and your arms look shit. Does that mean your arms are shit constantly?
Yeah. Well, it means you're not supposed to do that exercise.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the premise of any exercise. That if that body part looks good doing it, it means that it's a good exercise.
I'm trying to think of an exercise like a dumbbell kickback. You make your arms probably don't look too bad there.
Tricep looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
Or like a glute, like a banded glute abduction, or an abductor. Make it fucking fantastic for glutes.
Really, I was going to think maybe fantastic for your arms because you can tense your arms and like hold your hips. And I thought good for your arms. So it's basically whatever you look good at, that's what it is. Which is actually quite funny because on social media, if you were to train in a tank top and you were to do exercises where you actually look pretty good, you'd probably get more engagement and therefore maybe more clients. So therefore, business-wise, bro, like step it up. Come on, we might as well do it. Yeah, this is the reason why I train in tank top constantly and just post TikToks all summer when I'm lean.
Exactly. That's why you're popular with just the 12-year-old boys.
Yeah, exactly. And anyway, mate, 12's a bit too old. I'd say TikTok's usually like 8 to 10. So yeah, believe it or not, mate, I actually had a guy come up to me at the gym. He was 15, seemed lovely, and he came up to me and he went, "Oh, I'm trying to get a bicep vein. You got veins on your quads. Don't know how to feel about that." And I just laughed because I was like, "Yeah, fair enough." And then he comes up to me and he goes, "I don't mean to be rude, but are you on roids?" He was like 15, and I was like in my head, like, do I lie to him and just say, because if I say yes, it's not going to help, and if I say no, he's probably going to think I'm actually an all right person and not a dick, like not an absolute fucking steroid abusing twat.
I bet you said no.
No, I just laughed and said, "What do you?"
You said nothing.
No,
even when your mum asks you go, "Oh yeah."
No, I was honest and told him, and then he just went, "Oh."
I know what you mean, though. It's difficult in it to. Like there's no way of winning that situation other than sitting him down for half an hour, and you're not going to do that.
Yeah, because when I was 16, 15, I'd be like, never touching steroids, never doing that. It's horrible. I'm not doing all that stuff. And then you actually realise
was he disappointed? He was disappointed.
He just went, oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And I just was like, fair enough. Like,
that's what I said to you. Nothing that you can do is impressive.
Yeah, no weight, nothing. Like I could hip hinge 400 kilos, and you'd go, "Reece, mate, I'm not impressed."
Relevant. Nothing, mate. Honestly, as soon as the second that you inject testosterone, you just nothing.
What about not on test? What if it's just like Tren and Debo?
If you inject anything, mate, even if you got the vaccine.
Fair enough. That's the reason why we're not actually going to New York. That was the number one, mate. By the way,
me and Shannon had a look literally the other day going to America, and then I was like, yeah, book it. I was like, we'll go, and then she was like, oh, we can't because of not having the vaccine.
I googled. It's the only place, apparently, America is the only place in 2023, like heading into 2023, in like the Western world, where you have to have a vaccine. And me and Finn are both anti-needle, anti-vaccine. Clearly, we're anti-vaxxers, aren't we?
You're scared of needles, aren't you?
Yeah, that makes sense. And Finn just doesn't want anything irregular going in his body, so he's like, nah, I can't. He might have a relapse from his teen years. That's what it is, mate. You might have a relapse and just get back on the drugs.
Yeah, right. I was gonna say, oh yeah, in terms of like competing next year. So obviously for you, you won't do a show in America, would you?
No. Speaking of that, the guys who competed in the WNBF, like Thorburn, Joe and all that, they had to have vaccines and stuff.
That's what I was about to say. Like they must have done.
Not very natural.
I was thinking,
very natural bodybuilding.
Exactly. I think they must have done anyway. They must have had it back right at the beginning, like most people did. Like you should have done if you were a good boy. We were just naughty. We were naughty boys.
Yeah. We were training together, not listening to lockdown rules, not getting vaccines, mate. We're the reason why.
I was coughing in your granddad's mouth.
Going up to Derek, so, sorry, no, how you doing? You're right.
Well, sorry, mate. Let's just see what happens.
Yeah.
Nah, actually, we shouldn't be joking about that at all. Sorry for anybody who has properly suffered
Lots of people
from COVID or lost people. We shouldn't be joking about that. But anyway, if I was to go to Worlds next year and if it is in America, I would need to get the vaccine.
Unless they scrap the law.
Which I think by that point they probably will have done. And
Yeah.
it might not be in America, although I think I'm sure like it is. But anyway, I'm shit, so I won't be going.
Yeah, you wouldn't even get the invite. Or you get the invite, but they'd just be inviting you for money because they'd be thinking, no chance this guy's going to do well. To be fair, though, the vast majority, we've said it, like all these shows, the standard of it is like really inconsistent. You've got the Natural Olympians.
Usually higher just in the UK shows.
Yeah. You get like some UKDFBA, like for example, like the finals where it's like you'll get people who don't win and they go and win the Natural Olympia or finish top 3 in the Natural Olympia. And it's like, dude didn't even place in the finals, but he's gone to like peak of natural.
Well, a lot of that is that people who maybe do, let's say, do well in their country probably can't afford or don't really want to go and do the Worlds because it's not cheap and the federation isn't going to pay for it all for you. Like they're not going to pay for your flights, your accommodation. Depends on the federation, but they're not really going to cover. I don't think they cover a lot, if anything.
No, so, I don't think they will.
Like realistically, not that many people have got just however many like $5,000 at hand to go and have 2 weeks in America and stay over. Like a lot of people can't do that. So yeah, like that's why a lot of people obviously they'll maybe come third or whatever in their country and then they'll go and win it. And it's like, how does that even make sense? But it's not always going to be the same. Like even the guy that beat Adam in the UKDFBA finals, Adam then beat him at the Olympia. Yeah. So it's not like
AJ just magically peaked him and just he got 20% better.
He did look good. He looked very good, Adam. We need to get him on. We said we'd get him on, didn't we? And we said we'd get Jack Eagles on as well. Talk about all the fucking everything that went wrong in his prep.
Yeah, that'd be actually quite a good chat for
how he's not died.
Yeah, like I said, first prep with Tom and he almost killed you, but it wasn't Tom. Apparently, he almost killed him. It was Jack's horrendous immune system and then all the other stuff that's just he almost killed himself. So yeah, not good. It's not too good to hear about Mr. Eagles, but I think he's got one more show now, and I'm guessing I could tell that I said to him I could tell that he was ruined because it was where like every time he put up a story, it was like 4 weeks till this prep next show, 4 weeks till prep's over, or when you can tell, and I'm like, I think he's struggling a bit, but it's normal. He's peeled. He's been lean for a long time. His prep's been pretty fucking long. Like his first show, to be fair, his first show was like 18 weeks ago.
He shredded his first show. He's been too lean for too long.
He been too lean. Tom got him too lean too early. His first show, he's too lean. So yeah, he's had to hold that condition. But no, in all seriousness, yeah, it'd be good to get Jack, Adam. You got anybody else on the immediate like roster that we spoke about? I'm trying to think. We had a list, didn't we? But was there anyone else that we wanted?
We'll check the list.
But yeah, either way, we'll actually speak about what we were speaking about before we started. And the reason why we got on the America chat is me and Sinai, prior to my prep, are going to be going to Canada. We actually said when I was at the PCA show, Sinai had mentioned, like, if you were going to go to America, anywhere in America, where would you go? And I said, like probably New York around this time, in the summer, like LA, somewhere like that. And I said, like, when we walked around the Christmas market that was literally outside, by the stone wall where we took the photo.
Yeah,
it was literally made just like a Christmas market, like a German Christmas market with like massive, like not even pints, it was like multiple pints of beer.
What they're called.
Yeah, is that what it is? People were walking around.
I think it's called a stein.
Yeah, there were like buckets of beer. So I was like, oh yeah, sound, I'll have a fair few.
You were loving it.
Yeah, I just loved it, mate. So the drive to Cornwall for 5 hours afterwards was really fun. Fucking after those steins of beer or whatever. But in all seriousness, it was we walked around and I said to Sinai, like prior to prep, I was thinking about it next month or somewhere, but I'd go away for Christmas. And I was like, I've always wanted to go to America or Canada, that side of the world. And I was like, it's either going to be next year after I finish prepping or likewise, like in the next 2 months. And I was like, and I'd happily go. And she mentioned, where would you want to go? So we said, New York would be the number one. But then we realized the vaccine. And then literally, I think we're going to book it today. So it'll be like from the 9th of January, because she actually ruined my birthday surprise. We're doing something for over the weekend from like the 7th to the 9th. Or the 6th to the 8th or 9th or whatever. So I think she sorted something out for my birthday and she absolutely dropped the ball. Because I said, why don't we go like the first week of Jan? And she was like, yeah, I can't. And I was like, Why not? She instead of just like
Go
bullshitting,
bright
saying, "Oh,
red.
well," yeah, she was instead of bullshitting, she's going, "Oh, I've got a posing seminar," or oh, "I've got a bit of work on that first weekend." She was like, yeah, I'm just busy. I'm just busy." And I was like, "Okay, so that's something we're doing for my birthday," because she told me that she sorted this real cool surprise out. So I was like, "All right, that's something for my birthday." And it worked well with a deload prior to prep, because I'll be starting like probably, I said, mid to the most likely like the third week to the latter end of Jan. Anyway, again, Ian, Two Bros people, please drop the fucking list of shows, because it's like it's November. Like every other Fed has dropped their shows. UKDFBA dropped a month ago. It's for a reason why natural bodybuilding is so much better than Two Bros. Oh God, don't say that, Reece. I'm not going to win a pro card now. So yeah,
Too
scratch
big.
that.
They told you. They told you you're too big anyway for physique, didn't they?
Yeah, exactly. So I just need to lose some muscle. That's the plan. But yeah, so that'll be when prep starting. So I thought, right, prior to prep, let's get away. We'll go for 10 or so days, I think. And I'll probably be training over there for a few of the days, but it'll be a nice break. So I've got a few nice months lined up. You said about America or whatever. When were you planning if you actually could have gone? Would it have been similar sort of time, like next month or?
I'm not sure. It'd have been before I start prep, but we're not.
Oh, yeah,
We're
you're
not
not going to be
planning anything
starting
like.
in quite a long while. Yeah.
Shannon wants to go away. Obviously, you would end up like chatting about it a lot. Like, and the thing is that obviously we're both in like quite a privileged position where we can be like, yeah, like if wherever you want to go, let's go, let's do it. Like, why not? Yeah, we're only gonna like, with no point putting those things off. Like, especially when, I mean, you could always. I keep saying to Shannon, like, if you want to go away while I'm dieting, we definitely could. We just need to get like our own place, like get an Airbnb or a villa, rather than like going to an all-inclusive hotel, because it'd just be a ball ache with food. So we could go away while I'm prepping. We might do. If we do that, it'd just be like a nice summer holiday. It wouldn't be like I guess like a sort of experience holiday. Like you go to America, it's not like a summer holiday. It's like an experience.
You don't want to go to Magaluf with the boys, like 14 weeks or 12 weeks.
Went last year to Maga with the boys, didn't I? I went this
Okay,
year.
yeah.
Went this year. I've already experienced that. I can't go back. There's too much.
No, what, you don't think you
too
can
many
handle that?
memories.
You don't think you can handle that in a prep? Mate, you easily could. I mean, so many people go on holiday in preps. You know,
I
just
could
go on
manage it.
holiday, weekends. But yeah, I do actually think it's quite funny, like our mental sort of state in the sense of like you can't do that. You easily could. Like I went to Leeds twice, like, but granted, we're like I think me and Sam are like 16 and 12 weeks out, and it was sound, and you could get away with it when you're 16, 12, probably up to like 8 weeks out. You could probably get away with going away, but the stress of moving stuff around, and also you get to a point, mate, where you know it yourself. Those last like probably 8 to 10 weeks, the last thing you're going to want to do is do anything different. You just want to go to the gym, train, eat your food at the same time, you want to do your cardio. Just the thought of like, if you were, let's say if you were in a different city or whatever. Likewise, when I was in Cornwall, it was a case where my routine stayed the same and it was sound. But the thought of being like, right, I need to get my steps in, or I need to do my cardio. Where's the nearest gym? Or, like stuff like that. Like when you're on low energy, the last thing you want to think about is anything that's going to be external. So it's just going to be, I just want to do my stuff. I want to get it done. And I think that's the slightly negative headspace of prep, but also it's positive because it leads to you looking the best because you just get shit done. And it's not where you're 6 weeks out and you think, fucking hell, I've got to do my cardio at this time. Or, it's 2 a.m. and I'm doing my steps because my day's been horrendously structured, or whatever, which then leads to you being impacted the following day.
It's one of those, like, some people will hear that and you going, oh, I went to Leeds at 16 weeks out and 12 weeks out. And people be like, what the fuck's you on about? Like Leeds, it's like an hour down the road. Of course, you could go to Leeds, but it's not like, yeah, but
I took all my food all the time.
It is anything that's out of your normal routine is a ball ache. And if you think about that, when you're like now, for us to do that, it's like, yeah, sound, we can do that. Yeah, sound, we can do that. Like when you're in a position where like you say, you're very, very lean, you're on low food, you got low energy, like the last thing you want to be doing is that. And you sort of, you could do it. Of course you could do it, but is it going to be beneficial? Probably not. Like me and Shannon could go on holiday during prep. Would it be beneficial compared to not going on holiday? Probably not. Like that doesn't mean that it's something that I can't do. And especially at the earlier stages, you definitely could. And again, you've also got to think like, when you're looking at it as like, would it be beneficial? You've got to look at it not just from a bodybuilding standpoint, but from a relationship standpoint, from a psychological standpoint. Like, not maybe you imagine you prep 2-3 years in a row. Like, does that mean you just don't go on holiday for 2-3 years? Like, no, like of course you can. So like things like that. But Oh yeah, we were speaking about it. We'll sort something. I don't know whether it'll be that or what. We might even go away a few times before prep actually begins. But the thing is, like, I keep saying to her, like, we need to sort a house first. Like, I'm not going to be sat fucking searching places to go on holiday when it's like, well, we could be using this time to try and get a house sorted. Because yeah, it's not, well, it's the main priority at the minute. It needs to be the main priority at the minute, getting that sorted. So I'd rather do that than be like booking holidays and stuff.
Makes sense.
Just from a
sense,
time standpoint, because if I'm away for 2 weeks, that's 2 weeks of not sorting anything in regards to trying to get the house. You know what I mean? So it's like from a time standpoint rather than like a monetary. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And touching upon what you mentioned about the holidays, I thought, and again, you were rambling away, mate. But I didn't go to Sanaya's from genuinely, I think 8 weeks out till I was done with shows. So for like 12 weeks, maybe longer.
Yeah, that's because she was being a twat.
Yeah, she's just awesome. No, more so, I didn't stay around once. I'd literally, if I was to see her, and it was probably me being quite selfish, and I know it was 100% me being selfish. I was like, I'm sorry, I'm not coming around. Like, I'm not, because I was doing daily cardio. I'm not doing my cardio. I'm not doing my steps. Like, if you want to see me, you can come around. And granted, I went to see her, but I didn't stay around. So I was like, I'll come around to yours and see you in the day, or whatever in the evening, but I'm leaving and then I've got my meals and I'm not staying, because just waking up later or waking up and having to drive for 40 minutes back home, that's going to throw my routine off, and that's going to not result in me not being able to get everything done. And I think luckily, like, Sanaa wasn't as busy as me. She was at uni. It was like uni was quiet, summertime. She was working, but she wasn't doing her posing, whatever. And it was easier that way, because obviously it's not where, like, granted I can work on a laptop, but just the drive 40 minutes back home to then train, get all my meals, I was like, I'm just not doing it. Sorry, like, it's not what's ideal for me. So yeah, and that again probably seems pretty extreme, but I think a prep, in a sense, if you're serious about it, should and is kind of like that at times. So yeah, and also I will say, I think a lot of people, and this is something I've caught myself in before, where I'm like, oh, I'd like to go away, I'd like to do this. Bodybuilding isn't like forever in the sense of competing. Like, there's going to be plenty of years. Like, for example, you haven't competed this year. You competed. No, you didn't compete last year. You've had 2 years off. You know, there's plenty of times for you
the
to
year
go on
before
holiday.
was COVID, so you couldn't go away.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's more so like you might compete next year and you might not compete the following year, and it's only for a short amount of time. So like, I think a lot of times you get quite short-sighted and think, oh, it's the same as like when it comes to food. I have plenty of times where people mention to me, like, again, in 6, 7, 8 weeks from now, I won't be able to eat off plan. I'm going to be on plan constantly, but I'm on plan now. It's not where I'm like, I need to get every bit of food in. I need to go out for this. I need to experience this. There's a few places that I'd like, oh yeah, I'd like to have food again there before I diet for 6 months or whatever. But I look at it and think, well, it's just time. Like, it's been a year since, like, it's been over a year since I last stepped on stage, and it feels really, really quick. It'll be this time next year and we're doing a podcast, and it will be where we both have competed and we'll be like, shit, what a fucking year this has been. Like,
it is mental. Time just flies by, doesn't it? It's scary. That's also why I almost think you should. So, like, even though you're saying that, oh, it's just time, you've always got time. It's like, yeah, true, but you never know what's going to happen. There might be another fucking, like, COVID breakout or something else, another pandemic where you can't go on holiday or you can't do what, you know, you're all locked inside again. It's like, you never know, do you? It makes you think, like, you almost take it for granted that now you think, oh, well, I've got, how many years I've got ahead of me. You haven't got many anyway. When you think like that, like, you've got to, I think sometimes that is definitely a good mindset. But then if you think like that too much, before you know it, like 10 years has gone and you're like, oh, I've still not done those things that I wanted to do. No,
mate, 100%. I think it's, if anything, you can spin that and people could listen to that and say, oh yeah, sound, that business adventure that I want to start,
I'll just do it.
I'll do it later. The house that I want to get sorted, I'll just do that. Like, let's say a car situation, I was saying for a good, like, I said when it came to January, I was like, I want to get an M2. And it took me like 4 or 5 months to get the time to do it. But that wasn't from being slack. But you easily could just be like, oh, I'll get it sorted next week. I'll get it sorted the following week.
Right.
I'll do my cardio tomorrow.
Always, like, you know, easy done.
Yeah, easy.
When you're busy with work as well, like, if we weren't as busy with work, like stuff like that, again, obviously it would impact your finances. But even things like that, like things with the house, like if I had time to be ringing estate agents all day, every day, me and Shannon had a house probably a year ago.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't have the ability to do that. And the thing is as well, if I was to try and do that, then it means that I'm doing check-ins later in the day and I'm stressing out. Then I'm not being a good coach because I'm stressed and I shouldn't be stressed. Then my training goes to shit because my sleep's impacted because I'm up later working and stuff. Like, as bodybuilders, if we are going to call ourselves bodybuilders, which maybe we should by this point.
Do you reckon we've attack?
Nah, I don't think. Maybe you can. I'm too small.
Nah, mate. Men's physique guys. Men's physique guys aren't bodybuilders.
You can't. But like we, again, as even if you just think, even as coaches, like we have a responsibility to hold ourselves to a high standard. I can't be sat at home ringing estate agents all day and being like, oh, sorry, check-ins are late today, or they'll do them tomorrow, or anything like that. Like, or I've missed meals today, or whatever it may be. Like, you can't do that. And I would feel like shit for doing it as well. Like, of course you would, because then I wouldn't be able to train as well. I wouldn't be sleeping as well because I'd be stressing out more because I'd be behind and stuff. Like, so yeah, it's all a case of, it's the same like any decision in any sort of day-to-day decision. It's about, do you have the time? Is it a priority? At the minute, like, as much as we want to get a house sorted, like, my priority is still my work and my clients. Like, it always will be. You know what I mean? So you've almost got to find time outside of that where it's like, I need to get on top of it. And obviously making Shannon do it as well.
Getting her to fucking do it. You do it.
Exactly.
But again, to be fair, even like the Canada thing, like Sanaya's booking it. Like she's
when
like,
you have time off or time away, like, I know obviously you've not really been off over the past few days, but when you have time away and you might even get like an hour or so, that's when you think about things like that. Because usually like just 100 miles an hour all the time, isn't it?
Yeah, I didn't think about it until literally it was the drive on the way to the show. So I had a bit of time. I got up a bit earlier. I had everything packed, and I literally like thought about it, and I was like, oh yeah, sound cool, awesome. Like, and then I said to Sanaya, like, let's have a look. She's done everything, like, and she's been wicked. But like, if you'd said to me, right, Reece, sit down and book it, I'd be like, no, I'd book it for fucking next year, like sometime late next year. I wouldn't have time. Yeah. So like, fortunately, she's done it. I say she's booking it today, but that's because she's got time. Not saying she's not got time, but she's got more time than me, which I know she'd be the first one to say, which I'm very grateful for. And it's likewise with Shannon looking for houses. It's like, obviously it's being selfish for you to say you need to do everything, but you almost have to kind of share the burden. But then also you can't really share the burden equally if you're fucking on the laptop for more time than she would be at the office for, you know? Yeah. Granted, though, we say that, and then we've been speaking about fucking getting food in, getting some drinks in, and watching England tomorrow play.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're going out on the piss afterwards, aren't we? That's what we mentioned. Training early, moving our training times, all this, and then we're getting the drinks in, and we're getting the oodles in. We're not actually getting the drinks in, but we're getting some oodles, basically.
Are you happy getting oodles? You want to get oodles? I saw on your list that it was a 6 or something out of 10.
Yeah, no, mate, it's averages. That's the thing you got to realize about that list. Like, it's average. So, for example, like Five Guys, I ranked it like a 2 or a 3. So now I had like a 7 or an 8. Like, if the things that we were just even, like McDonald's was like a 7.5. I don't think a McDonald's is 7.5.
But you McDonald's?
Mate, I think was last year.
Every week.
Oh God, no. Yeah, I think I've had. I personally, I've said before, I think McDonald's is an absolutely disgraceful.
Mate, McDonald's is awful.
The only time a McDonald's is somewhat acceptable is when everywhere else is closed and there's like, oh fucking hell, I've got no food. Yeah, I don't even know. I'd argue it's not ideal. I remember, mate. I'll tell you again. I might get in trouble for this. I was about 18, and I saw a girl after I trained. So again, sorry, Sanaya. I do have a history.
The good old days.
Good old days, mate. And it was, I was probably 19. It was when I trained at Loughborough Pure. And I remember I saw a girl and I didn't bring my post-workout meal. This is when I wasn't a good bodybuilder. So I wasn't optimal. It was 4 years ago, guys. So please let me off. And I had like 3 meals to get in because I saw it after I trained. And it was like, I think we went for a walk. I think like we just chatted. And I was literally about 1 a.m. and I hadn't ate from like my pre-workout meal. And I was like, I felt horrendous. I had like 3,000 or 2,000 calories to get in. And I got the food in from McDonald's, mate, and my stomach. I got like, I think 3 meals, and my macros were actually pretty okay for what it was. And these were the days when I had higher fat. Finn used to get in 5,000 calories and have 90 grams of fat on a training day. So basically,
I guarantee you had more than that when you had 3 meals at Mac.
I was quite cautious with what I got, and I like literally, but it was over, but it was a calorie wise relatively
chicken salad.
Yeah, macros weren't horrendous. Like, they weren't amazing. And I remember, mate, I had like these 3 meals. Bearing in mind, I never used to eat off plan when I was like in my teens. I know I literally would eat on plan every single day. I still pretty much do, but I was so routine. And I remember the drive home, mate, from this McDonald's, my stomach, I think I got in and just shat myself and I threw up myself. It was so bad because I had like, I think it was like 3 chicken wrap meals or whatever. And then I had like a chicken side or whatever. And then like, I think I had like half some fries because I had a decent amount of calories to get in. And honestly, mate, the drive, I was driving and my head was spinning, my stomach was spinning. And I was like, what have I done? Why did I do this? And I got in and it was awful. So yeah, I think, mate, we need a story every week about that. This is just how you make a bad decision when you're a teen and you end up shitting yourself or throwing up. So
you know, Harrison, who I coach, he's he's 18, 19. No, 17, 18. And he had
he's under 18. Did he get his parent permission when he signed up to get photos and stuff like that? Or did you just say,
I don't need that, mate. I'm way past gone with that. So he's got an off-plan meal a week now. He messaged me last week. He was like, "Oh, yeah, like, can I get a burger post-workout?" I was like, "Yeah, sound." Like, he's on a lot of food. He's very lean still. He got Mackey's, and I was like, "Mate, Mackey's is awful." I was like, "You can have better off-plan meal than that." When he said burger, I like expected a decent burger. I saw that he'd had Mackey's, and I said to him, "I was like, mate, Mackey's is awful, awful decision."
I have a client, Sam McDonald. He had a Burger King. He kept mentioning really fancy a Burger King. And I said to him, like, mate, what? Like, and he tagged me in a story. And I said to him in his check-in, like, a Burger King, bro, what the fuck? Like,
if you're going to have an off-plan meal, get something decent. Like, get something worth it.
Yeah, like, if I have to judge you off an off-plan meal, like, what the fuck, man? Like, it shouldn't be the case. Mate, we should actually, you know what we should do? Even though in our entire relationship, we've only ever had a Chiquitos and a Five Guys, I think. I remember we had
out for meals. We had a Pizza Hut when you finished.
Oh yeah. We probably have only had maybe like 5 meals together though, haven't we? We should start doing a food rankings list, and we should see where we fall. Because like a Chiquitos, you'd have it like a 9, I'd have it like a 4.
No, you liked it when we went.
It wasn't bad. Yeah, it wasn't bad. The one me and Sinai had though was absolutely dire. So
that's the only thing when you have a bad experience, especially if it's the first experience, you're like, don't like it.
Never going back there. Never going. So,
right, should we get into some questions?
Yeah, we'll get into some listener questions. Part 1 over. We'll catch you guys in part 2. Listener questions.
You go first because I need to get the ones from last week. You said you got all those.
How do we have a whole like intermittent period and you can't get them up? Like, mate, you've had literally 5. Yeah, but why were you not getting them up on the way to the toilet, mate? This is the sort of stuff that's just you're just slacking, mate. You're not a very good podcast host. I've realised this.
Mate, you're not a good co-host. I'm gonna get rid
of you. How am I not? Who are you gonna replace me with, man? Josh Croggan.
That'd be better, yeah.
Yeah, probably would be.
Probably be better than anyone. Literally anybody would probably be better.
Yeah. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Right. I'll see if I had any from last week, and then we'll.
Well, I'm telling you that you don't, and I had loads because I remember.
Okay, fair enough. You get them up from last week.
I've got them now. Right.
Okay, cool. What's the first question, mate? Come on, ask them.
Okay. Did I ask you about the Mike Tyson one?
I don't think you did, mate. What's your thoughts on Mike Tyson fighting Jake Paul? Is that what it was?
No. No, it's actually quite a good one. Okay. So you get £1,000 to fight Mike Tyson, but it doubles every year from when he's born until his prime. What age do you take him on? So you'd get £1,000 to fight him as a baby. That'd be quite funny.
Yeah, I think like, I'd go with that. I'd be thinking, you know what? I'm probably like, I don't really care about the cash, and it's not going to be like if he's 10, what, you get 10 grand, but I get £1,000 but I would murder a 1-year-old. Like
it
10
every year from when he's born until his prime. Okay, so you can't go after that. I was gonna say like when he's like 80.
Yeah, 80. I'll be like, oh, I'm making some serious.
Yeah, but it's until his prime. So when would his prime have been? 30?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I reckon. You know what? I think 1 would be a bit unfair because you just kill a kid, like kill a baby. I reckon like
to kill it, mate. That's
I'm thinking like I'd haymaker. I'd want to be like
pummel it. Yeah.
I'd want it to be like, right, Mike Tyson's prime never happens. He never boxes again. Yeah. He never steps foot in the ring. He gets like PTSD from thinking about the ring. It was that bad of an experience. So, and also, who's paying me this? Who's paying me this? Surely they pay the little kid like Mike Tyson because they'd be like, right, you'll get beaten up today, bro.
Basically, what age do you think the kid Mike Tyson, what age do you think he'd have been too good and he'd beat you up?
He beat me up at 14.
I reckon he'd beat me up a bit earlier than that. I reckon he'd beat you up a lot earlier than that.
No,
8?
I don't know. Yeah, 10, I reckon.
Imagine,
I could take 10.
imagine a good, like, really, really good
Yeah, mate,
12-year-old footballer. He'd be so much better than you. Like,
yeah.
imagine a really good 9-year-old, like, probably be better than us.
Was it a boxing match? Was it a fight, like a fight? Because I think it's different. A boxing match, mate, you get beat by a 10-year-old Mike Tyson, 100%. But if it's like a fight,
it
you
says
could
fight.
yeah, you could probably just like grab, and I reckon I could probably like choke him out or something. Because I'd be 3 times his
Bet
size.
you'd enjoy that as well.
Yeah, but he'd enjoy it.
Choke you out. Oh no.
Oh no, Mike! Oh, Iron Mike!
10-year-old Mike Tyson's choking me on the floor. Oh no. And my clothes would all come off.
Hey, if that's the case, as young as possible. You know, I don't need the money. I'll pay you. What
I'm
else?
gonna say, I reckon I
This
could.
podcast is cancelled. We've joked about like COVID, people dying, Mike Tyson choking us out, borderline paedophilia stuff. Like, please, guys, this is
We usually have borderline paedophilia in most episodes.
yeah.
What was it? The last one we were like, we like kids a normal amount.
Yeah. We haven't actually insulted any coaches so far, so we need to kind of go after a few of the.
Nah, because that's too personal. You can't say anything like that. We can say everything we've just said, but you can't say something about a coach or something that someone can't say something that someone says either. Not allowed to say anything like that.
Not like that. No, we realised that. We realised that. Right.
I'm gonna say wait, I haven't said.
Okay,
I reckon I could beat him up until he was 10.
Makes sense. Okay.
Although 10, it depends how big he was at 10.
Yeah.
Some kids are quite big at 10.
Yeah, definitely. Right, I'll go. So Sir Argan, and I will say Argan, please stop.
This is his third account now.
He messaged me saying, like, because he asked me a question and he asked about obviously me unblocking him, and I just said, like, I didn't like how you handled yourself in some situations, right? Therefore, I'm not unblocking you. And he messaged me like twice saying, please, can you find it in your way to forgive me and unblock me? It's like, bro, what benefit am I getting from unblocking you? You just, I like that you listen to the podcast. Thanks for the support. But unfortunately, I don't really want.
How are you blocking him if you're messaging him? Is this his
He's
new
going to message me. Yeah, I don't really know. So, Argon, please stop messaging me about unblocking you, because it's like, you've had your chance. Like, thanks for the support, but I'm not unblocking you, mate. I do appreciate the support, though, and I like the fact that you seem to like me and Finn and the podcast. Anyway, he's asked, follow up on the last question, on waking up trashed but feeling fine throughout the day. Do you remember he asked? He was like, I feel horrendous when I wake up. And we said about his sleep quality and his structure and routine. And he put, should I consider a deload or wait until I'm trashed all day? And I find this a little bit confusing because it's like, do you not have data and do you not remember how you feel like after a deload? If you feel better after you've had a deload, just take a deload. But I also think, like, if you trashed what we said last week and you're waking up and you're like, God, I'm so sluggish, assess and actually look at your sleep quality and sleep time and stuff like that and routine.
I wouldn't wait until you're trashed all day. You don't need to be absolutely fucked like 24/7 to be allowed to have a deload.
No.
There's like you say, there's other areas to focus on first. Like if your sleep is shit and you feel trashed all day, then you don't need a deload. You need to improve your sleep. If you're having a stupid amount of caffeine and you still feel shit, you don't need to have a deload. You need to improve your sleep. Like usually it is going to be a case of improving your sleep, improving your time management to get more sleep and improve your sleep quality. That is usually going to be the answer. And then if you've done that and you've done that for multiple weeks and you're still noticing signs of fatigue and let's say training's starting to take a hit and other areas are starting to show signs, then just pull back. And like you say, you should have data from it. So you know that, well, last time I felt like this, it was 10 weeks ago. I took a deload and then within a week or so after that, I felt great again. And I felt great for another 9-10 weeks. And then it happened again. That's normal. That's generally how it would kind of work for most people, dependent on the level that they train at and stuff. But for most people, it's going to be around that kind of schedule where you're going to have multiple times across, let's say, a given macro cycle or given phase where you are going to have to pull back at certain points.
Yeah. Or that this is why you should plan a deload every 6 weeks, no matter how you feel.
You have to structure deloads. Everybody's the same. Everybody needs one after 4 weeks.
Been on a really good run of training and you feel on top of the world, bro. It's week 6. You got deload.
It's week 4. I think it's week 4 now. Is it week 5? I think you have 4 weeks on, 1 week off. I think that's the goal.
Mate, it's just, I'm not even going to say it's silly, but like, come on. Does everybody need a deload at the same time? And also, like, what happens if you're the first month into the gym or like you're not that strong?
Yeah,
you're like,
4 on, 1 off.
Yeah, I need to deload. Just need to
And,
deload.
those 4 that were on, you missed 3 sessions each week anyway. It's all right.
Yeah.
One off this week.
Yeah. Or you know what? I've actually been really under the weather and I'm absolutely trash. But oh fucking hell, it's week 3. My volume's going up. You know, like yes, my recovery capabilities are not in a good spot. Let me just add more. Yeah, because it's week 3. Oh god, right. We probably have offended some people there. So get in. We've done the we've ticked off.
That's what we shouldn't be doing that one. Everything else is all right.
Yeah. Right.
Jack Strong _2. Olympia top 5 open.
Rami 1, number 2, Brandon 3, Nick 4, Hunter 5, Derek. Going a bit audacious there. I mean, those are the names.
I would be surprised if Nick and Hunter were 3rd and 4th. To be fair,
yeah, I think that'll be close. I think they'll, because they're both similar in the sense of physiques, like relative to each other in the competition. So if one's 3rd, I think one will be close.
I don't know. Like, obviously, there comes a point where the younger people do place higher because they're not as young anymore. You know what I mean? Like,
and what it is, yeah, eras end and new boys come up.
Because there's not like before. It was like Dexter was always guaranteed top 6. Phil was always guaranteed top 6. Bonac was always guaranteed top 6. Like, it's not quite the same now. So, yeah, I'll go with some of that. Ian, I think Ian could do well.
I think Ian's photos are very good. He looks very good. I think
he's probably got,
they're all very
good. I feel like he's got a better chance than maybe Hunter. I don't know. What about Mr. Jacked and his massive chopper?
Mr. Jack. I mean, on the girth test and the penis test, I reckon Mr. Jack definitely would probably be top 3.
I don't know. We've not tested Rami's yet, have we? We've not tested his.
Yeah, that's the reason why we need to go to the Olympia next year, mate. We need to get our vaccines and go to the Olympia next year just for penis assessment. That's what we'll be. Then we'll
put it down as work.
Yeah, we'll find work you've got the tanners, and then we've just got our booth. You're like, Jacked, Mr. Jacked, come over it. And he's like, guys, no, I've seen you before. I've heard your podcast. And then we're like, come here, we need to test. We need to make sure everything's working down there. All right?
We might not need to get a vaccine if we're going for work. So we'll just let them know that's what we're doing. And they'll probably
We're there for quantity assessment.
Strictly work. It's just business.
Yeah, we're quality assessors of the penile division.
Penile category.
You know. Right. You do yours, mate, because I've got about 6 from like 6 more from
this is shaped by Argon, so this is someone completely different.
We've had shaped by, right? Fair enough. A lot of Argon.
If exercises are progressing slowly, do you devolume, change exercises, or change volume?
Mate, he's touching progressing. No, mate, he's touching too much about devolumes, deloads. Argon. You need a month deload, bro. Yeah. Deload immediately. You're talking too much about devolumes. Stop changing stuff.
What would you determine as progressing slowly? Because realistically, like it's progression. Like if my movements are progressing slowly, like kind of that's good. I wouldn't expect them to be progressing rapidly. Like I'm not chucking 20 kilos on everything every week. Like your movements are going to progress slowly.
When you enhance, you can just whack loads of load on. Yeah. No, in all seriousness, like I embrace, like, let's say you do something new, and let's say you put in a new exercise and something progresses. So let's say you start a new training measure. Granted, mate, I don't think we ever have. Like, well, our training will stay the exact same. We just swap a few things around. But let's say we're adding 5 kilos every week. That's cool, but you know that's going to run out. And when you get to the point where that 1 rep is everything, and that you put on a 1.25 kg, like let's say plate per side, and it's like, wow, that feels like a fucking like 10 kilo plate. That's wicked. That's actually when you're making the most progress.
Yeah, we always say that, don't we? The amount of times that you have to say that to clients when they're like, oh, this has stalled for 2 weeks, or I only gained a rep this week. It's like, you gained a rep. That's mint. Like,
yeah, take that. You know, that's what you need to focus upon. When you get a session and everything is a +1 or a 2.5 kg up, but you lose a rep, that's not a bad thing. That's good. That's really good. That's like, right, cool. You've forced that progression. And like that's, if anything, when you're going to be properly training, if you're swapping and changing everything, cool, you'll probably get accustomed to like, oh, I can take 2.5 kg up and match my reps. Like in reality, you're probably not making progress because it's something new. Like if you're doing that like 12 weeks in on an exercise, I'd really assess the accuracy and what you've done previously, if I'm honest. Like if you're 12 to probably 16 weeks deep, even earlier, 8 weeks deep, like I can be 4 weeks deep on an exercise and be like, fuck me, this is ridiculously challenging to progress. That's good. That's good.
Depends, doesn't it? If it's completely new and you've never done it,
Yeah.
You're probably going to get a good maybe 6 to 10 weeks where it is relatively easy to progress. But then also you could argue you're going to progress faster at that point, so it won't be as easy to progress as quickly. You know what I mean? So like if we did a completely new leg press, like we might start a little bit tentative because we're getting used to it.
The best leg press.
Probably the Arsenal strength, yeah, the best in the game. We might chuck on 10 kilos each week for a couple of months. And then before you know it, it's like, right, shit, we're not going to be chucking on 10 kilos. We might chuck on literally, it will stay on this weight for this next month and just try and get it better and get an extra rep here and there. But yeah, like Reece said, that's actually when the real progression is going to occur, because you can't be expecting your body to adapt that fast. All you're experiencing when you're seeing that faster rate of progression is learning the movement, learning the sort of neurological patterning of that exercise, getting better and getting more accustomed to that exercise. And then when it starts to slow, that's when you're actually going to be eliciting growth and hypertrophy from that exercise. The progression that you see before that's rapid isn't that you're just gaining loads of muscle. Say it all the time to new clients, like their numbers go up a huge amount in the first like month, and it's like, yeah, because you're actually training, like, you're actually training, you're actually pushing yourself, you're actually breathing, which you weren't doing before. Your tempo is good, you're controlling the weight, you're actually pushing yourself like a lot harder. You haven't gained 80 kilos of strength on like a hinge in 4 weeks. No. You've just actually pushed yourself.
Confidence of doing it. How many clients will sign up and they're training previously, they were just going into the gym doing something different every time, and they've never actually had that runway. Like it's like they'll deadlift 1 week, then they won't deadlift, then they'll do a barbell bent over row, and then they'll do a yeah buddy row, then they'll do something like a machine row, and then they'll deadlift again, and they're like, oh, my deadlift hasn't really gone up, and I did it a month ago, but they haven't done it consistently. So it's like having the consistency of just doing the same exercise, as you mentioned, neurological pathways, doing the same sort of stuff over and over. It helps. And also confidence of form feedback, being told, yeah, this is sound, this is good, your bracing's better, this could be better. That helps significantly. So it kind of goes hand in hand. So to answer your question, Argon, if you're progressing, mate, sound, don't overthink. I think Argon does overthink. Like, I think he overthinks probably of his Instagram handles and how many accounts he has. But I also think he probably overthinks when it comes
to how he juggles that many accounts, to be fair.
Yeah, like, do you log
what
in
was his name before? His name was Simon, wasn't it?
Yeah, Sam Medica, who had 12k followers and averaged 8 likes a photo, which was.
But he wants to be called Argon now. He told us.
Argon, can you tell us exactly what's Argon? What is your real name? Like, is it Argon?
I think it's Argon.
Yeah.
I wonder how Ped's getting on.
Yeah, Ped. We haven't heard about Ped. Ped's worked too much. He's worked.
Ped, if you're still listening, just drop us a message.
Yeah.
Right. I can't remember if I asked this one. Would you rather get the first 90% of a blowjob or the last 10%?
You didn't ask this one. I think it's a bit different. I think if it was a female, it'd be a bit different because it would probably feel all good. Probably last 10%. But then, do you do the first 90% on your own?
Would it feel all good? Would it feel all good? Would it? So, it feels so good, yeah.
Yeah, I'm so good. Just fucking hell, you should see, mate. Honestly, like I'll show you one day. That's for sure. It's nothing against homophobia, nothing against. But we're not anti-oral sex here. That's for sure.
We're all for oral sex, aren't we?
Yeah, we're for all sexes, all sex, all sexuals.
We'd have won the One Love armband in Qatar.
Yeah, 100%. We'd be prisoned. So yeah, all good. What would you say, mate? 10% or 90%?
Yeah, last 10%.
Yeah, fair enough.
First 90% is just like you just.
Right, can I swap it around? Okay, Finn, let me swap it around. All right, 90% by a bloke, 10% by a girl to finish, or 90% by a female, 10% as a bloke to finish.
Oh, probably 90% from a bloke.
Just because of that. It's call it bloke, mate, no matter what. Can I have 100% by
100% bloke, please. Yeah, probably 90% bloke. I don't think I don't know, it depends how good he is. I might struggle to finish if it was a bloke. Again, we're not against homophobia.
Mate, I wouldn't struggle because I'm not anti-gay like you are.
Yeah, it's true. But actually, I mean, I wouldn't struggle. I can't say that. Sorry if I offended anyone. Yeah. No, I think 110% bloke. I mean 90% bloke, 10% female.
Right. Ross Bickerton has asked, "Is it coming home?" I don't think so, but I think
you got to get behind it. You got to say yes every time.
No, I don't think so. I I think we're good. And I think if we had a different tactical setup, and I think if we had better centre-backs or centre-backs in better form, aka we've got a glaring hole with Maguire in that space, like Ben White, stuff like that. I'd really be thinking if we had a better centre half and the player quality is really good. Like I think we're good across the board. Once Walker's back in, I think we'll be really solid defensively. But I don't know. I just think we'll revert back to a 3 at the back. We probably won't play that expansive football, and I think it will hurt us if I'm honest. And I think against the better teams, like if we come up against France with Dembele and Mbappe either wing, it might be a bit of a challenge. But I do actually think we could probably beat France. It would more so be like Brazil and like maybe one of the
depends, doesn't it? Because like so far, obviously we were against Iran. Like you can't really judge us off that. And
no.
Some of the bigger teams have been beaten. Like what Germany got beat, Argentina got beat.
Yeah,
Argentina, like everybody. I think I said that Argentina, I reckon, would win it. Like so, it's difficult because based on this first game for everybody, you would say like, oh, England and France, they're the favourites, and Spain. England, France, Spain. There's a couple. Brazil still to play this evening, but it's obviously it's not one game, is it? It's 7 games. So I'm going to be patriotic and say, yeah, we're going to win it. Do I believe that? No.
Fair enough. I don't think we're going to win it. I think we'll get to the semis. I think semis is my prediction.
Yeah, but you gotta believe, mate.
Yeah, I see. I'll believe it more, I think, once we get deeper in. And I think we will actually. I think we're one of the nations that I think will get better as we play more. I think
I think we've peaked, mate. I don't think we're going to be as good as we were. I honestly think we won't have a performance as good as that. Obviously, 6-2, not even the scoreline, just in terms of how we played, like, and how like free we were.
Yeah, composed. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not saying performance wise. I'm also mean like squad morale, team wise. I think we'll beat USA. I think we'll rotate against Wales. I think we'll beat them, and I think we'll probably smoke the round of 16. Is it round of 16? I think we go into, isn't it? And
it depends who would be against, though. Depends on the group because it's Netherlands group, so we'll either be against Ecuador, Senegal, Qatar, or Netherlands.
If we're against Netherlands, mate, they're going to play like their football.
I don't think we'd smoke any of them, to be honest. So I think we would Qatar. I think whoever comes second, I don't think we'll smoke them. We're not a team that just blows teams away. Yes, we did with Iran, but
no. But the problem is we're not a team that blows teams away because whenever we come up against a good team, we play pretty conservative, and we're very much a team that like I don't think we'll get beat by like I don't think we'll get a shock loss. We'd lose by a team that's better than us. And I think our morale and our like mentality is like just don't get beat and we'll have enough quality to win. Like but it's not where that tactician's coming from, like a Jose Mourinho. It's coming from Gareth Southgate, and it's like you could probably rely upon Jose Mourinho or Conte to shithouse a way through. You know, where it's like
if we played like the team, pretty much played the team that we played against Iran and just went toe to toe against whoever we come up against. I don't think there's that many teams that are actually better than us.
I don't think so, mate. I think if we weren't England and you were to see our squad, you'd be going,
fucking hell, they look good.
They should be top 2, you know. But it's because we're England and we have that negative. Like I have no hope. Like the thought of England winning a World Cup, I'd be like, no chance, mate. I don't think we're going to win a World Cup in my life. It's like I can't. I literally have no hope.
That's just because of the history, because we've not won one for years. Like what, 60 odd years?
Yeah.
But
like it would feel like
if we were to win the Euros, we'd probably be thinking differently. Yeah. We'd be thinking, we'd probably be favourites if we'd have won the Euros. It'd be like, oh, England are the team to beat. They won the Euros. They've got a good young team, a lot of quality. Yeah. But it's more so from it's like baggage, isn't it? Like we carry that sort of that we don't win, which is why we don't win. Will Bertolini asked, will England make it out the group stage? Yeah, I fucking hope so, mate. Especially now. Imagine if we lost the next 2 games. It could happen.
Even if we lose one, like with how the World Cup system works, if you lose one game and like the other fixtures don't fall your way, you can be out. Like Germany.
If you get 6 points, you can't be out.
No, but I think Germany are going to struggle to get through with how things have. Even if they win,
because that's because they've got Spain next.
Yeah.
It's not if they win both games. You get 6 points. I think it's impossible for you not to go through.
Are you sure? I feel like, can you not get 3 teams that win? No, I'm not sure how it works.
I don't think so. I'm not, we'd have to work it out, but I'm pretty sure if you get 6 points, you're through.
Yeah. Right. Harvey.11 has asked, what have you both improved the most this off-season and how? So your off season is longer than mine. So in the last 2 years, and this is the thing, off seasons, you don't just go into it and think, oh my God, I'm in an off season. I need to, like, everything's leveled up. It's a consistency of just setting standards and getting better. Like your off season now is better than it was when you started, but it's not because you've done anything brand new, I'd imagine. It's just because you got better at doing daily actions. But is there anything that you've implemented or things that you could attribute it down to?
Are we on about our day-to-day life, or are we on about from a physique standpoint? That's how I read it.
I read it from a physique standpoint,
Yeah.
but I think day-to-day life goes into bodybuilding. Like, if your day-to-day life is horrendously unstructured, you're probably going to be a subpar bodybuilder in most circumstances.
Yeah, I don't think my day-to-day life's changed drastically, other than probably just being busier with work and therefore having to manage time even better and manage stress even better. From a physique standpoint, as much as my legs are still pretty naff, I would say my lower body. I'd say my side delts have come on quite a lot. Yeah, probably that. Probably my lower body and side delts.
Yeah, I'd say for me, like actually training for not like for more of an actual class. Like before, I'd never trained like a men's physique guy. I've always done side delt work. I've always done arm work. Like we did the arms at the end of every session before my prep. Do you remember? Like it was literally, we trained 4 times a week and we did arms every day or arms every session. And I always did a lot of side delt work and a lot of delt work, but I always did upper lowers, push pull legs. This was the first off season where I actually had a greater kind of disposition towards volume and recoverable volume and workload towards my upper body. So I'd say that was probably been the number one sort of change. Usually I trained a little bit more kind of not bodybuilder style, but I trained with a lesser intent on my upper body, where this off season's been more so smashing my upper. And somehow my legs have still grown. So yeah, I'll take it. Your one, mate.
This is from JP _movement. Jack. Thanks for the question, mate. So he's put the real JP, yeah, the best JP. Bloodwork as a natural.
Jack Pierre.
I forgot he was a thing, mate. Bloodwork as a natural. Where to get? What to look for, benefits of getting it done.
Only to do it when you enhance, bro. Only to do it when you enhance. Like your natural test is low, and they'll tell you this is what it is. Your test will be normal, and they'll tell you your test is it's a little bit lower. And then they'll tell you got the test of some magic like unicorn or 70-year-old like I don't know girl, and then
you got the same test as your nan. That's what they'll say.
Yeah, they'll say that no matter where you test it, your test could be.
That's just what they tell you.
No, they'll tell everybody because everybody gets told the same thing for some reason. And
they work for Quanta. They work for Quanta. And
you'll get a Quanta link, and then you end up you just buy testosterone, then you just jump on TRT. No, in all seriousness, 100%. I think getting bloods done is imperative in any phase. If you're natural, if you're enhanced, even more so enhanced, but even naturally, like getting labs done, getting blood work done, and assessing is never going to be a bad idea to see how things are, because you can definitely implement lifestyle changes, supplementation to help and go from there. So yeah, you had yours done by Medichecks, didn't you?
Yeah, I've used Medichecks a few times. And it's decent. I've never had issues with them. I know other people that have. I've had a couple of clients have a couple of issues with Medichecks, but then they've always sorted it out as well. So like they've had like strange readings and then they've sorted it. So it's never really been a problem. Only thing is with Medichecks, like, well, you can get intravenous, you can get a nurse to come out and do it, but it's just a finger prick, which isn't going to be as accurate as if you were to do like an intravenous one. He asked where to get it. So you could do, I'm pretty sure. So you've got things like the blood lab and eval, and they do them in different places, don't they? I'm sure. So he's in Wales. So which one is it that's based in Wales? Blood lab based in Wales. Yeah. So you could do that, mate.
I get like a free blood work done by them by being with Team CSN ReeceFit 10.
So you could do that. Obviously, Jack's looking to prep next year as well, so it wouldn't be a bad idea doing it before prep. One thing that I would say that people often do is they'll do it at the back end of a diet or the end of a prep, and it's like it's the worst time to do it. It's not going to look good whether you're natural or enhanced. It's never going to look good at the end of an extended diet phase when you're in a depleted position and have been for a long time. Like it's never going to look good, probably across the board, but especially from a hormonal standpoint. Like testosterone is not going to look good. There'll be other readings that look fine at the end of a diet, but you'd be better off doing it peak off season or midway through an off season. The thing is with peak off season, often you can see like lipid profile isn't the best, cholesterol can be quite high and things like that, which often is a good way to be like, right, okay, maybe we should look at implementing, XYZ cardio, bringing that up, maybe improving the nutritional quality, improving the quality of your fats and things like that you can do. But yeah, like peak off season is a good time to do it, or midway through a gaining phase, even maybe at the start of the diet.
Yeah, I think phase is very important. So like for an enhanced individual, it would probably be like, I'd say bloods getting done. You can get them done at the end of a prep, but as Finn said, like you're going to be trashed, and also you're going to be on a high amount of peds anyway, you most likely at the end of like, let's say, a prep. So I probably want to wait for some clearance time and then some time to actually get like somewhat normal. So probably like 4 to 8 weeks. I'd probably say 6 weeks would be a sweet spot post prep for an enhanced individual. And then I'd say, if everything's all good, obviously you could start a push up, but I'd say prior to a push, you could then most likely get them done probably 4 to 6 weeks into when you've escalated your peds up into like a super physiological range, just based off the fact that you're then going to be peaking and you can see how the impacts are. You then probably want to get it mid phase and then potentially towards the end of the phase. But regardless, if you've been on, let's say, a 20-week push up, your bloods are probably not going to be ideal at the end of that 20-week push up. So it's like, and you're most likely going to be coming down. I think a lot of people, I've had it a few times where like people will get to the end of a push and they'll look at their bloods and they'll go, oh, they're not actually that bad. Let's push on for more. But it's like, well, you've still had the duration, like you've still had 20 weeks. If your bloods are okay, that doesn't mean it's a green light to say, let's do another 10 weeks. In reality, myostatin's going to be in an skewed position. You're probably not going to be amazing. Maybe from an appetite standpoint, composition is going to probably not be as good. And I think a lot of people can not, bloods are so important, and they should be a big part of your decision making, but knowing when to take them, when to get them, and when to actually read from them, and when sometimes to go, okay, this is probably the reason why they're not ideal, and knowing like when to push and when to pull when it comes to kind of data. But they're definitely something that I would be getting regardless of your natural.
I would say though as well with that, like from a natural standpoint, you're probably not going to want to or need to get them as frequently as you would if you're enhanced. So like getting them maybe every 6 months to a year, I would argue would probably be plenty for a natural. But if you're enhanced, you're probably going to want, especially when you are going through, like you say, a phase where you're going to be pushing things up and you might be pushed up for however many weeks, like you're probably going to want to get them a little bit more frequently when you're enhanced, which is again another cost, something to think about.
Yeah, 100%, mate. Right. Has Finn upped his arm volume in training due to them being so shit? Sick pod, lads.
Actually, they're completely shit. They're not so shit. They're completely shit. Yeah, I'm doing. I said at the start, I'm doing 2 arm days now.
Yeah, 2 arm days. That's it.
Fitness Journal J, you can win the Olympia but never watch/play footy again, or play for the winning Premier League team but can't bodybuild again.
Fucking hell, how many would you rather? Like, there's a bit too much there. Well, I'm gonna be honest. Like playing for a Premier League team at this point, I don't think like Man City would really probably want me. I don't think I'd enjoy it because I'd be so shit.
No, let's imagine that you're good. So basically, would you rather be the best? So you can win the Olympia, but you can't be involved in football. Yeah.
Well, I could be Kylian Mbappe,
or you can be like a top player, but you can't be involved in bodybuilding.
I'd be Kylian Mbappe over being like a pro Olympia competitor.
I'd be Mbappe over being Rami, I think.
Yeah, oh mate, 100%. Like who wouldn't want to be Kylian Mbappe? I'd be like running out of my garden and just kicking a ball top corner, be like, I can do that every time. Like you'd be almost taken away, like taken back. I feel like because we've been into bodybuilding, if I was Big Ramy and I could just put 10 plates on a machine press and press it, I wouldn't be like, oh my god. But if I was Mbappe and I could just skim past somebody and then just curl a ball top corner every single time, I'd be like, it's quite cool. And also,
you can't do it every single time though.
Mate, if you were to watch Mbappe in training, I bet he's got that inside cutting.
Yeah, in training
every single time. But yeah, I'd prefer to be Mbappe than Rami, simply.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. Right.
Josh Croggan, best book you've ever read, and then in brackets, more curious. I fucking can't read. More curious if Reece can read.
Well done, mate. Thanks. I legitimately haven't read a book since probably school. No, I know I haven't. We read The Silver Sword You ever read it, mate?
No.
It was about pretty much World War II, and it was about I think a Jewish bloke. I can't actually remember the thesis of it, but I actually got my mum to buy me the book. I never read it afterwards.
So you read it at school?
Yeah. And basically, it was about like a war story about like a guy who kind of had to travel the country in Germany in the war, and he had to like dip and dive between like there were like Nazi forces, and he was like trying to like get across and find his family. And I can't remember if he found his family. I think he might have. Or he found a sword that he gave to like a little silver sword that he gave. But I think the girl got like concentration camped or killed or something. So yeah, sucks to be him. But the silver sword's a good story. I can't remember. I read
That's fantastic, 10. Mate.
Yeah, I read it when I was about 10. So silver sword. That's what I'll go.
Did you not read Boy in the Striped Pajamas at school?
No, we watched it. We didn't.
We read it and watched it.
What was better, book or film?
Probably the book. The film's like I feel like the film was more sad.
Yeah, and you felt and like you said it's sad, and you called me small after I had my hair shaved. You were saying I look like the boy out of Striped Pajamas.
Did I? I don't think I did. Someone else.
Yeah, someone else did, but I'm saying you did to make you feel bad. So you were taking the picture out of Small, who was a Jew who got gassed. So
I wasn't at all. That's sad, that film. Best book I've ever read. I don't know, really. I don't read a lot. I don't read. I haven't read for a long time. Sir Alex Ferguson's biography. That's good.
Yeah, no, I bet.
What else have I read? I've read a couple of Gary Vee books, which I quite liked. I read some of those when I was in Egypt. They were good. I've read that Subtle Art of Not Giving a Fuck, which I think is good. But because I haven't read enough, I'm just naming books that I've read.
Yeah, so it's like a limited. It's like my favorite food's this, but I've only ever ate at 3 restaurants. You know, it's like, yeah, you can't really trust your opinion, bro. Right, I've got like 2 more. I think for your favorite bodybuilder of all time, your favorite BB of all time. Ronnie. Yeah, I'd say Ronnie actually, just because he's a bit of a living legend. Mate, Sanaya, I did some cable rows yesterday, and oh mate, the whole stack on this cable row, absolutely awful. One of the worst sets I've ever done. And I listened to Yeah Buddy, and I got like, you know, the Yeah Buddy Machiavelli motivation song. And she got in the car, and it was literally because it started playing, because that was the last song I listened to when I was training. And it was like, woo! Yeah. She just looked at me. She was like, you train to this? And I'm like, yeah.
Only like sometimes that is required for a set. It's required for Yeah Buddy sets, isn't it?
Yeah, it's required for that set as a minimum. So yeah, I've got one more question, mate. Do you want to go through yours?
And I've got quite a few still.
We could do a few more if you want, mate. We could do a third part.
Will Razzo. Happy birthday to Will Razzo. Everybody wish him happy birthday, although by the time this comes out, it won't be his birthday. Pick your Ultraflex tag team WWE.
Cuba and AJ.
So you only get 2 more people.
Cuba and AJ.
You only get 2 people.
Yeah. They're tag team.
Yeah,
2 people.
Is that not me and one other person?
Oh, so I get to pick one person to be with me, fight with me? Like
yeah. It's about wrestling. It's not about training. I'd pick Nate Styles.
Kamara.
Yeah, she's probably got. Yeah,
she'd be like Rey Mysterio, like doing flips and somersaults and back heels into people's faces. So I reckon
I'd pick the receptionist. What's his name?
Oh yes, a receptionist. Yeah. And I'll pick Steven Physique, and we'll just tag them in every time. Like, no, bro, I'm not going. It'll be
Stevie.
It's not
about us. It's about you 2. I'd pick Max.
Yeah. And he's also, mate, he's so good looking, Max.
Max is the boy, the best looking man in the world, isn't he?
He's so fit.
Yeah, Max, if you're listening, mate, we both fancy you. Tom Harris 10. Pink hair forever or completely bald forever?
Bald forever. Fucking BR.
Yeah. I'd probably be bald anyway soon.
Yeah, you're
Tom Harris 10 again. You're allowed 1 sauce for the rest of your life, but you have to have it on every meal. What sauce?
Oh, are we including like calories? Because like I would be like, I'd like a mayo on everything. I think mayo goes well with the vast majority. But I don't eat mayo. Yeah, mayo, chicken, mayo, rice wouldn't be a bad shot, but I'd go ketchup. It's simple. I go ketchup. Ketchup's the most flexible.
Yeah, but then you've got to have it on every meal. So if you had cereal, or if you had cream of rice,
Cereal,
or if you had
cereal,
just whey shake, you have to have it.
mate, cereal mayo, cream of rice mayo would be far better than ketchup.
Yeah, it
Seriously.
would. Yeah.
Ketchup.
Or
Yeah.
what about like caramel sauce? Or like
Mate,
chocolate
no,
sauce?
every meal. Mate, I can tell you're a fucking fat bastard. Like, come on,
Every meal
man.
with chocolate sauce, mate. I reckon chocolate. Depends how much you have, because like a little bit of chocolate sauce on chicken and rice probably won't even notice it.
I'd want to throw up.
Does jam count as a sauce?
Yeah. I'm feeling like you're being a bit too exotic here, mate. I'm going to Sainsbury's and just looking at like the sauce section. There's not a lot there, you know.
Why are you going to Sainsbury's?
Well, okay, sorry to any people who go to Aldi or Tesco. So I just named a random like place to get food. Yeah, I go ketchup, bro.
Okay, so next one. This is from Miles. This is quite a good question. If you and Reece could steal one of each other's clients, who would it be?
Oh, I've got one that could follow this up. If I could steal one of your clients, I almost feel like I need a list to see who would be.
Yeah, I don't know that. Well, I do know obviously a lot of your clients, but to think off the top of my head.
Yeah, I like JP MVT. I like his MVT or whatever is. He's a nice lad. I got on with him in person.
Yeah.
I like Niall. Niall's a good lad.
Niall's a good lad.
I can imagine coaching Niall because I feel like Niall would be like he's an easy client. Like Niall would be a good lad. So Niall, coaching slots available. Like, yeah, I'll say that to him now. Coaching slots available. We've joked before about like, what would you do if a client, like, if let's say I ran on my applications and it was Niall Bergen.
Well, I had
like,
Conran, didn't I? I had somebody apply called Conran who I actually coach now. Hi Conran, if you're listening. But he didn't put his second name on the form, so I was like, "This is Conran Butcher. This is Reece's client." He literally just post show as well. It's like he's definitely sacking.
Yeah, it's sacking Reece good.
I'm trying to think. I get on well with Josh. Obviously, I don't really see him much, but we've trained before. Who else have we trained with that's your client? Matt. I like Matt.
Yeah.
Men's physique, Matt.
Yeah.
Do you still coach Jamie Smith?
Kind of. Like, yeah, like I spoke to him on Monday. I messaged him saying, Jamie, how's everything? And he said he's going to check in. Honestly, Jamie
I wouldn't want to coach him then.
No. So Jamie, literally, mate, he sent me his voice note and I put, Jamie, my son, I am proud. Chat to you tomorrow. Because he sent me a voice note telling me he's going to check in, and that was Monday, and he didn't check. I haven't chatted to him.
Of course he didn't. So who else have you got?
Jamie is hilarious though. I feel like you'd pick for like someone you just love Jamie. Jamie's just sound.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
Who have you got competing next year?
Rockus, he'd be good.
Yeah.
Gulliver, Joe. Oh yeah, Valverde just whacked it off the crossbar post. That was a strike.
You must be ahead of me. Or back.
89.08.
Oh, yeah. Don't spoil it then because you're ahead of me.
Valverde just cannoned one from 30 yards off the post. Oh yeah, that's a hell of a
I can see it. It's happening now.
Yeah. Josh on stage. I'm trying to think of who else. I've got 12 to probably 13 people on stage so far. A guy called Jack Kelly. So another Kelly. But yeah, who would you go with, mate? Come on, quick answer. I'll go with Niall because I like Niall.
I like Niall. I'm trying to think.
Ethan Metcalf, he's on stage next year. He looks good. He looks very good, actually.
Yeah, Ethan does look good, and he keeps tagging me in his stories.
What, his arm challenge?
Yeah, tell you what, I'll pick Ethan for that because he even messaged me saying get him out about my arms, and I think I like the message. Ethan, yeah, I'll choose Ethan based on that premise that I didn't fulfill his wish of getting my arms out because they're completely shit.
And then Macca Morris has asked, if you had to pick one client who you think has the potential to turn pro, who is it and why?
One of your clients or one of my clients?
One of your own clients, I'd say.
Millie.
Yeah, I think Millie's like one of those where just of how she trains, like even if she wasn't genetically very good, which she is, but then also you question she trains really, really hard. So like you question genetics. Like obviously she's genetically good, but like she trains that well. Even if she wasn't genetically good, she'd be good, like just based on how she trains.
Yeah,
So
I think, like you say, based on both factors, like genetic components, but just work ethic and consistency.
yeah,
I have a few, to be fair, that I think have the potential, but also
yeah,
it's one of those as well. Like, are we looking at GoPro naturally or GoPro
yeah. It's
enhanced?
just,
So it's
yeah.
different, obviously.
I think for me, like for example, Ethan's got really, really, really good shape. Like he's got very good shape, really nice insertions, good lines, but he'd be years away, but he'll be really good on stage. Like a PCA, I said to him, for a PCA show, he'll be fucking awesome because he's not going to be Ethan's not going to be a mass monster. He's never going to be the biggest dude, but he'd out like proportion people, and his insertions are really good. So Ethan long term, I think definitely could be in classic. I think 100%. Mark, so Mark Anthony Els from all over the place. Is it? I think he's like from South America, South Africa or somewhere. Like it's bizarre. But he's very, very good. He's 18, natural, like, and he looks awesome. Like he responds so well to everything. And I know he's got aspirations to compete at the highest level. And that'll probably be something we look for in 2024. So I think he's got genuine potential for 18, and the shape he's got and the muscle mass he's got is really, really good. I think Rockus, for example, in the natural leagues, I think for the amount of muscle, like he's got trained for 10 years, he's like with his age, and likewise with like the goals we've got, I reckon he could be very, very good next year. He could get a WNBA pro card or something like that. I think he'd be good. Need to bring up a few areas posterior, and then likewise some of his side shots with like his hamstrings and stuff. So yeah, but yeah, exciting times. I reckon, and that's three that just pop up off the top of my head. But I reckon there's definitely more. Like Conran, for example, if he had 5 years of just, or 3 to 4 years of like plowing away and getting bigger, he'd be very, very good. Like for a teen, there's not many teens who
Thing
have
is,
his
though,
level of muscle.
you could say anybody who's young, really.
Yeah, exactly. With like you can look at like Josh for you and say, yeah, but the difference is like he's 18, 19. It's like you can say Gulliver, for example, his work ethic. Like that's someone who, with how he trains, he'll be very good because of how he trains and how hard he trains and how on it he is. But there's so much to it, and it's one of them. Like you can usually tell, but then also like people work hard and it's time. Like some people, like Finn, for example, if you were to see Finn at 18, you go, yeah, you could go pro in this. But in reality, you still hit 25 and it's like you competed once,
Still shit.
Yeah, and you've got shit fucking arms.
You've got worse.
So yeah, right. That's my questions done, I do believe, mate. So if you'd like to wrap through yours, that'd be good.
To be fair, mate, we're nearly done. Munro BM Fitness, no question. Wanted to say, great podcast. Thanks for the company during my steps. No problem, mate. Thank you for listening. We do appreciate you. Make sure you've liked. Make sure you've given us a rating. Make sure you subscribed. Make sure you follow the podcast.
Where's the story tags? I don't think we've seen a story tag from you, bro. So please engage if you've listened to us and we're giving you this free content. At least put it on your story, bro. Come on.
This one, I messaged you about this last week. So George Osborne 12. Just wanted to say, really enjoying the podcast, boys.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, George. I messaged Reece about it. I was like, fucking hell, this is cool. George Osborne loves the pod.
Made it.
We've made it.
Yeah, George Osborne listens to the pod.
George,
Thanks, George.
to be fair though, George, if you really love the pod, tag us in a story.
Yeah, give us some engagement. That's what it is.
That'd get us a few more. And we said we'd get him on. We'll have to get George on.
That would actually be a good one, yeah, because we can chat to him about his transition.
Being a massive cheat.
Yeah. Every single story or like guy's post in the last month has just been something like he's going shopping on steroids.
Yeah, it's easy, isn't it? It's easy content. Easy content.
I know, mate. The thing is, this is the funny thing is, like, I can guarantee some people would be like, "Oh God, all it is steroids," but he's milking it. It makes perfect sense. Like he'd be the first one to say, "Fucking hell, yeah, I'm probably pushing it a bit too much." Not in a bad way. It's a good way. It's a good thing people are demonstrating and actually documenting it. Yeah, I just hide it from my mum.
You just don't tell anyone.
Nobody knows. I'm natural.
Appreciate the support, George, and also Wix Fitness. She put us on her story, didn't she? She was watching a YouTube video. I don't know if it was your video or my video. I don't know what session.
It was when we were in Ultraflex. Yeah, we were in Ultraflex. I don't really know. I tried to look at our faces to establish like where we were from a
I think I was pretty fat.
Yeah, you've been pretty fat for a long while.
Mate, I'm shredded now. Jacob Huxley. Posing practice during off season. Yes.
100%.
Just do it post workout. It's easy.
Yeah, got a pump. But then also make sure you actually, like, for Jacob, for example, because I'm coaching him, potential wise, that's actually another one who's really like Jacob's got a lot of potential for his age and his shape, but his posing is relatively like not the best. But that being said, he's not practiced enough. So Jacob, practice in the morning, practice at post session, practice in the evening, have a look at what poses suit you, and just play around with it, and you'll get more confident, more comfortable, and you'll see what kind of suits you and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely practice your posing. I think a lot of people, like, if you're an on-season sort of bodybuilder and you don't practice your stuff in your off-season, you'll come around and you'll go, oh shit, like this isn't as good.
So much harder. Like,
yeah,
you've got a lot more energy in the off season, so utilize it and get good at posing. And then when you come to dieting, it's like, oh well, I've already done all this, and you just see your physique change and make little tweaks based on those changes, but you've already got the fitness from posing enough. Right, Miles messaged me. Well, he put reminder that I sent mine already. Basically, he sent me a voice note and he said, if you were seeing a girl. I don't think he said if it was like your girlfriend, or maybe he did, but basically it was like if you went to their house and they'd been out all day and you got in and you went to the toilet and there was a massive turd in the toilet, would you tell them or would you flush it and not say anything? And then I said to him, I was like, this has definitely happened, hasn't it? And he was like, no, it hasn't happened. It hasn't happened.
Eden, come on.
So Eden's definitely listening. So
yeah,
have a word, Eden.
Flush the toilet. Come on. Well, there's always going to be human error. But I also think flushing the toilet, just flush the toilet, bro. Like when it comes to yourself. But I definitely think in our life, one of us has forgot to flush a toilet once. I can't remember ever being caught, but
Wait, you never get to the toilet.
Yeah, I just do it in the bed. That's what it is. If I'm honest, it depends on where you are from like a relationship.
If it was like a week in, there's no chance you're comfortable enough to say. You wouldn't want to embarrass them, would you? You'd just
no chance. I'd just be like, oh, I'll flush the toilet. Yeah. But you know, like if I'm honest, if I'm deep into a relationship and let's say it's like quite an impressive, like, I've gone for a few and then thought that's a good one. I could take a photo. I'm quite proud. Yeah, like if it was something that's pretty impressive, I'd be like, Sanaya, what? Get yourself in here. Look at this. How the fuck is it? Yeah, what the fuck? But yeah, I don't know. It depends. I think in my with Sanaya, I'd say something. I'd be like, "You want to fucking flush the toilet, by the way?" Like, but I'd probably say that. But if it's early on in the relationship, there's no conversation. It is literally flushing. I've not seen anything. I am none the wiser, and I'm cracking.
You never see him again.
Yeah, never see him again, and that's it.
Right. Jaden Morris. I'm 16, doing my PT qualification, wanting to set up a coaching business. Best advice?
Currently being coached by Josh.
Just set it up. Yeah. Don't think. Don't
just copy the sheets that we give you. Just copy the sheets and just copy everything that Josh does. No, in all seriousness, it's things like, let's say, listen to podcasts, expanding in your knowledge, embracing the fact that you're 16 and you're probably not going to have a great amount of experience. That's fine. You're early into it. I look at this and think like I'm a better coach than I was, let's say, a year or two ago. And that's just through coaching and likewise putting in time and knowledge. But at 16, like, don't be thinking you're going to take over the coaching industry. But by the time you're 21, 22, if you've got 5-6 years of coaching experience, even if that's working with people at your gym, working with friends, family, that's awesome. That's really, really rare. Like, not many people will have that level of experience. So don't be viewing your PT qual and thinking that's going to be everything. It's going to be a good entry level, let's say, certificate that can expand your ability to get into, let's say, working in a gym, being in that sort of kind of on floor like gym sort of like lifestyle and activity, which will help expand when it comes to conversations, potential clients, etc. But just view it and think you're young, you have a lot of time. Focus on putting your time into things that are good. So for example, having a coach, Josh, likewise engaging with myself, like asking me questions, let's say, when it comes to, let's say, watching YouTube videos, and almost in a sense actually kind of trying to get a recollection of what's actually good. So for example, doing exercise and thinking, you know what, that might not work too well, mate. It's all about experience at a young age and trying to see what's best for you. And like I said, having a coach is a great idea, and you're probably on the right track. And Jaden for 16 has a really good foundation, like really good foundation. He trains really well. Josh has been telling me how good he trains. So yeah, it's one of them, but you're on the right track so far from what I can tell.
That's it. I think as well, like at that age, some 16-year-olds, and I feel like I was probably the same, you were probably the same, like you think you are an adult and you think you know everything, and you think that, you know, oh, well, I'm going to start a business and I want to be at this point by this age, and I want to be at this point by this age. And that's good. But also, like you say, just realize where you're actually at. Like you're literally just starting. Yeah. Like in 10 years time, you'll be a year older than I am now. Like that's mental. If you had 10, 11 years of experience behind you, you could be in an amazing spot, both from a bodybuilding perspective, but also from a coaching perspective. And it is literally just a case of time, and obviously making sure that you're making the most of that time, because you can say, oh, it's a case of time, but people waste time and they don't put the effort in, put the time in. Like when you're in a position now where you enjoy training, you enjoy being coached, you want to coach people, just crack on. Like, don't overthink it. Start making content. Don't overthink it. Start coaching people for free, friends, family. Don't overthink it. Just start, and you'll only get better at it over time. And then before you know it, you'll be 20, 21, 20, 25, 26, and you'll be like, oh shit, this is my job. And I've done pretty well for myself so far. Like that, you won't get there if you don't just start. Don't overthink it. Don't be expecting it to be perfect when you actually just beginning.
Yeah.
Butcher's Wet Dream, another one that has potential to go pro.
Yeah, he's very good. Yeah, that's one.
What is your guilty pleasure in life?
Oh, I don't really have anything.
I messaged him when I saw it. Guess what I messaged him?
What?
I'm not going to say it on the podcast because I'm not allowed.
Oh, mate, come on, give us a hint. You can't. What are we saying on this mate? This podcast's been a car crash.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I'm saying guess. What do you think I've said?
Oh, mate,
It's not
I don't
awful.
know.
It's not like, oh my God, you can't say that. You'll get locked up. It's not that bad. But it's
okay, so that ruled out definitely one thing that I know.
Yeah, that we were going to say, or we say all the time. No, I just messaged him saying gay porn.
Okay, fair enough. So yeah, gay porn. Fair enough. I mean, we've all engaged in a bit of gay porn before, and we watched a bit, to go, oh no, gay porn.
Oh no, I really like this.
No shit, this is good. I don't actually know, mate. I don't really have anything that I'd be like, oh God, I don't want people to know I do that. I don't really have a guilty pleasure. I'm very normal.
That you have Angry Birds teddies in your room.
That's not a guilty pleasure though, because I'm proud of that.
What about? Well, yeah, you shouldn't be. What about having like Liverpool calendars when you're 23?
Mate, my mum buys me one for Christmas every year. That's just part of like this routine. I still get a match annual. The match annual and the Liverpool annual.
This is your guilty pleasure then, because you're.
No, it's not. I'm not like, oh no. I'm like, yeah, cool. I read that. My Christmas day is literally I read through a match annual that's designed for 10-year-olds, but it's what I've done since I was 6. And it's actually not too bad. It has like
when I was a baby, I used to shit myself all the time. I don't do that now.
Well, I still do. So what changes?
Is that why you live? Is that why you do shit yourself all the time? You just live. Well, I've always done this, so I'm going to keep doing it.
Yeah, honestly, man, I'm trying to think. I think it's because like I have absolutely nothing that I'm like insecure about, and you could follow me around daily and just go, yeah, Sam, that's me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty upfront. So yeah, I don't really have anything that I'm like guilty of.
I don't have anything, but you know what I thought when I was, because obviously I saw the question, I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't actually have anything, and I was thinking it's not a guilty pleasure. I like kids' films. I don't like kids. I like kids films.
Really? Like, what kid film, like Elf, stuff like that? Like
Elf's not really
like that.
Film.
Okay, what's a kid's film then? Like what we Transformers?
Like Toy Story and Shrek and all these kind of films.
Yeah.
Like they all have like when you're a kid, you don't appreciate them. When you're an adult, like there's like adult jokes in them and stuff that you realize more. Like that's what I mean by I like films that are usually designed for kids.
Yeah.
But I think they're always pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm not there. I'm not going to watch. I don't watch one all the time. It's not like every night me and Shannon watch Shrek, but it's every other night or so. But like, like I like if there's a fit like films at a cinema, if there's nothing on, but there's like Sing, Sing. Me and Shannon went to watch Sing 2 at the cinema.
Yeah, you told me about that.
Because I like they're good films. They're like they're like there's jokes that kids don't get that adults get. Like for some reason I just quite like it. I like animation, like that animated films. Like I'm basically a child. I'm basically a child at heart, mate.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't think that's a
guilty pleasure because I think most people do. I don't think anyone's going Shrek. That's shit. Everybody likes Shrek.
Mate, I really don't like Shrek.
Mate, honestly. You love Shrek. If you haven't watched it.
Yeah, I haven't really watched it. That's the reason.
But if you were to watch it, you'd be like, oh yeah, shit, this is good.
No, I just don't think I'd like a fucking ogre. I never liked Shrek. I was just like, what the fuck's Shrek about, bro? Like, not a fan.
Nah, you'd like it.
No, not a massive fan. Right, is that it? Is that questions done?
No.
Fucking hell, it's still going. Jesus Christ, how long's this? Mate, this podcast might be our record podcast. Right, how many more have we got?
2, and then we're done.
Okay, let's go through.
This is argon, shaped by argon this time. Thoughts on AJ raising heels on hacks? I feel like AJ doesn't even do the hack anymore. Maybe he does. Maybe we've not seen it.
Whatever AJ does, who are we to argue with Senor Morris? We can't.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
it's the godfather of natural bodybuilding.
Exactly. No, godfather of natural bodybuilding worldwide. Finn. Come on.
Yeah.
Have you signed up yet? Remember?
No, I'm waiting for him to give me a contract.
Okay.
Actually, George should have been sacked. So maybe I'll slip in there.
What, George? Oh, it's George. You know, if you jump on pants, like that's it. Your log's done. You get
mate,
deleted.
You should be sacked. You should be put.
Go to log in. You go to log in, and it's like, wait, it says my password's changed. What the fuck?
Blocked.
Like, your password, yeah.
It's like there's a hall of shame on the actual on the site, and you just go straight in.
What, and it's like Natty's and he's turned in hand. So it's like the original was like Jack Richardson, who was like the first one who like went from the overseas and overboard. Then it was then it would be George. You know, it's just all of them. Oh, God, Lewis, he'd be another.
Lewis is in there.
Yeah, proud hall of shavers. Fucking hell.
Thoughts on Asia? Yeah, do it once, mate.
Yeah.
We've spoke about this before. I'm pretty sure we had an episode that was like potentially even about it or titled it. I can't remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, like it's fine. As long as you're not going right onto your toes and feeling like you've got like no stability, then it's fine. Most people will probably see the heels come up a tiny bit. You can press through the midfoot. It usually means you'll be able to have a lower stance and get a bit more knee flexion. So yeah, it's not anything that we are concerned about. And if we were, we would tell AJ, wouldn't we? We'd message him and say, mate, I won't be doing that. Be careful with your heels.
Yeah.
And then the last one, Radu Popescu. I feel like I've said that before, so he must have asked a question before. Do you do the same movement twice per week sometimes? Yes. Sometimes more than that. Multiple times.
I know dumbbell lateral raise, I think like 2 or 3 times a week.
I think it's a case of a movement pattern. Like a lateral raise is just abduction. You're abducting the arm, like whether you do that with a dumbbell, a cable, a machine, like whatever you connect the best with. Like I've gone through phases where all my lateral work was on cables because dumbbells felt awkward, or vice versa, or all my arm work was pretty much just like the same 2 bicep movements. Yeah, bicep curl, 2 different bicep movements, let's say, because they feel good and I'm connecting well with them. So you might do them multiple times a week. Maybe with some bigger compound movements, I would say probably not. Like I wouldn't recommend doing a deadlift twice per week. You could do a variation. You could do a deadlift once and maybe an RDL another time per week, but probably wouldn't do like really big demanding movements multiple times, the exact same. But something that's not so demanding, more so like isolation movements. Like for example, a hamstring curl and a leg extension. Like if you're training legs twice a week, you're likely doing a leg extension twice a week. If you've got a good seated ham and maybe no other hamstring movements, or even if you have poor quality, a standing ham and a prone ham, they're not great. You'll do a seated ham twice, maybe more, depending on how often you train them. So yeah, it's absolutely fine.
I think a lot of people nowadays, like they think you have to do, if you do a session, you're doing an upper and a push session, you can't have the push movements overlapping. And if you're blessed with kit, then wicked sound. But if you were to look through lockdown training, we weren't doing a different exercise we might have had a crossover of exercises just because it felt good and it was better. And like you said with the hamstring curl, it would be the same as like if you had 2 shoulder presses and no Smith machine and no dumbbells. As you had 2 shoulder presses, you had a plate loaded one that was good or a pin loaded one that's shit. You wouldn't just be like, okay, I did the plate loaded one, now I'm going to do the pin loaded one. You can always do the same exercise, manipulate tempos, manipulate rep ranges, do the same rep ranges. Sometimes the turnaround might be too soon, especially if you've had it in for a long amount of time. But question the actual quality and think, like you said, when it comes to the lateral raise, abduction. When it comes to a press, you're literally pressing weight. You're pressing in a vertical plane. There's not going to be too much of a difference. So ask yourself what's going to be better. And most of the time, if it's the same sort of bit of kit, sound, crack on, you'll be fine. So yeah. Is that it, mate? Is that all our questions? This might be the longest podcast we've done.
It might be. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you all. Thank you very much for the questions. Please do give us a rating if you haven't already. Just before we sign out, should we see what we're on, mate?
Yeah, sure. Do you want to check as well I'll have a look, mate. The football rankings for the FIFA World Cup.
Oh
I'll
yeah, we
look at
can do. Yeah. So
Mate,
we're on.
you were bad after the first 2 days or something. You were like 16th.
Yeah, I think I'm beating you now, mate. So 184 ratings. So thank you, everybody. We've got 16. Come on, 16 people that are listening to this. If you've not rated us on Spotify yet, please rate us on Spotify. Please follow us on Spotify. I think that helps. You can't comment or anything on Spotify, can you? But you can like and subscribe and comment on YouTube. And then in terms of FPL, if you're listening by this point, sorry, but we're going to talk about football. We're gonna do the FPL chat. I actually asked Reece if he was free the other day to do like a World Cup predictions episode, but he wasn't free. Like we couldn't do it. We couldn't fit it together, both of us at the same time. So it's a bit of a shame because now there's no point doing it because the World Cup's already started. Like we were going to go through it and plot out like we think these teams are going to win this group and so on and so forth. If anybody wants us to do separate episodes about football, please let us know because we could easily do like bonus episodes and bring out one or two.
Imagine we become football daily, like something like that.
Yeah,
we
but
sack off
could,
on.
like, you know what I mean? We could actually add extra content and we could do it as a separate episode. So for the people who don't care about football, Beth, you don't have to listen to it. But it would be good to do that. At least I would like to do that.
Finn is top 3. Gio Ashley 2. Elliot, my client, you know, the one who was really good at fantasy last year. He said he's flopped this year in the FPL, but he's top with 62. So he's been really good. 62, like, and Gio Ashley 61, where everyone else is like in the 40s. Like, I'm at 41 points. Finn is on 48. So there's only like 7 points difference between.
Oh mate, I'm third.
Yeah, that's why I said you're top 3. Between that was the happy. I'm third.
I'm smashing it.
Well done. So yeah, Finn's third. I'm 8th. I'm only 7 points off, but Finn is like 13, 14 points off top. So it's quite a big gap. Elliot is creating
but you can make that up pretty quickly.
Some distance. So yeah, all good. Well, probably our longest ever podcast. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed. Story tags, all that jazz, ratings, all appreciated. And we're being serious. Tag us in stories. Rate the podcast. We're coming for Spotify's like number 1 podcast.
Wait, we want Spotify to sponsor us, don't we?
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and then eventually we'll be in a little studio that we're going to be setting up. So the podcast is going to be leveling and stepping up. So yeah, thanks as always, guys, and we'll catch you in the next one. See you later.